Welcome to Tekkel Talk Show.
Here we go. Guys, oh wow, what a week, Alberic. Eskom obviously having the last say on the show where we had to postpone for 15 minutes. But as true as always, we are back. Tekkel Live is live. Although we had some obstacles, here we are.
Ja, die ander ding is Tekkel is Thai. En ons loadshedding of not ons sal nie wees. Of het nou net onze oë is in die donkerte, julle sal ons sien. So guys, welcome to another Tekkel Thursday.
Yeah, no, guys, we had some struggles, and you probably followed on social media. We had to postpone this episode with 15 minutes to obviously accommodate us all. Load shedding has got a big impact on our lighting, on our bandwidth, on everything. It's Tekkel Talk Show is 100% dependent on electricity, so we had to postpone it. But thanks for joining us, and for the many people out there that paid with us for the 15 minutes. We are here. So welcome to Tekkel, Alberic. How's things going in Kuils River?
Lekker. We're probably going to be talking about a bit of rugby later. We're not going to be talking about the results, but before we get to that, weather's been great. And a bit stormy on the stormer side, but we'll get into that a bit later. Hoe's dinge jou kant?
No, for sure. Obviously, we were all looking forward to the episode with Ivan Roos. I see he is backstage. He is watching the show, but unfortunately, guys, Ivan Roos, where he is in pitch dark. It's load shedding where he's online, but unfortunately tonight we will not be able to speak to him. And Ivan, thanks so much for gracing us with the opportunity to speak to you, and thanks so much for your willingness to join us next week Thursday. We will speak to Ivan Roos, our special guest, obviously the Stormers, Western Province, previously played for the Sharks. Ivan Roos, one of the bright prospects of the Rainbow Cup, and I am going to put my neck out there, Alberic, certainly one to watch for the future. I am really sure that Ivan will don the green and gold in the near pushing future.
No, exactly, and that's why we looked at him for the show. He's just been phenomenal this season. He's just been he delivered some standout performances throughout the Rainbow Cup so far, and as a youngster coming through, hy die paar van die harde manne laat klippe go, and that's great to see. We always talk about these youngsters coming, showing what they're worth, and Evan is definitely one up there. And we spoke. We had a chat last week after the show that it would be interesting to see what the British Irish or the box squad would be for that tour. And we were thinking, what if Evan would make it? But I think he was definitely on the fringes. I think he's definitely a star to be watched. He's definitely a player that's going to make some big waves. And it will be an honor for him to be back, to be on the show next week. So thanks, Evan. Pity about load shedding, man.
No, for sure. Guys, and then obviously we just need to thank Juan de Jong for last week. It's been phenomenal. I think the responses was brilliant. And then obviously the number of views, interactions, we couldn't get to all the social media comments. So Juan de Jong out in London, you and your family, to all the viewers that watched, guys, it was a phenomenal episode. We were so grateful to have him on our show, and what a class act, apart from a rugby player, just an outright good human being.
No, exactly, and we're pretty excited to see him back in South Africa. Also, all SA franchise would be happy to see a player of his caliber back in South Africa, and he'll just bring up like a wealth of experience, not only to the Stormer side but to our landscape as well. He's just a great player, great human being, and a great ambassador for the sport. And what can we say? Is Juan de Jong, former Springbok at least, our first Springbok on the show. We were just honored to have him on the show as well.
Yeah, no, for sure. And then Ivan Roos would have obviously brought some atmosphere to the show,
Yeah,
because he previously played for the Sharks, and that is my
yeah.
team, the Sharks.
Gaan ons
And then
moet ons
he
nou
also
daar
now
moet ons
stand a standout player for your team, who is the Stormers. So without further ado, let's have a sneak peek into those results. It was a good weekend, and obviously these results setting up this weekend for an absolute humdinger. There we go, the Bulls trumping the Stormers. I was very, very disappointed with the performance of the Stormers, especially because they dominated some of the play in the first half. They looked like they were going to upset the Bulls, and then gradually they let the Bulls in. And at the end of the day, it was the Bulls that actually came away with the win. But if you look at the stats, eventually it was the Bulls that actually got the upper hand in the second half, and they were, the Stormers making a lot of tackles. Barry, they really had the opportunity to put the Bulls to bed, if I may use that phrase.
Yeah, I mean the yellow. I mean they got yellow cards that obviously always counts against any team, and against the Bulls you can't afford that. They were just after that yellow cards, the Bulls just picked up momentum and took the game to another level, and caught up with the Stormers. I think the Stormers were leading with like 10 points to go, so the Stormers were doing well, albeit on Loftus. But yeah, again the Bulls, their depth the season, it's always been one of the strong points, and that definitely came through. I mean, they've got a huge player in Marcel Coetzee that really had a fantastic game, and he really showed what he brings to the Bulls. And it's a pity that Stormers couldn't pull it through. Me being a Stormers fan, but Bulle, I think the Bulle is they were always going to be a force to be reckoned with this season, and again they just showed their class at the end, and holding on to that win. The game for me, what's pretty exciting was the Lions and Sharks game. I think again the Sharks, again playing away from home, they really showed what they're all about, and they really came with some great play, and definitely sets it up quite nicely for next week.
No, for sure. And I think the Lions and the Sharks game definitely more entertaining, more viewer friendly. But looking at the fixtures now, there's a lot resting on that Bull Sharks game. Obviously, a lot to play for. There's a lot of mathematics going into that one now, because it can obviously go both ways. If the Sharks get their way, they obviously will be able to trump the Bulls. But the Bulls only needing 1 point. That is either a bonus point or other point out of this fixture to obviously make sure that they secure the top spot. And there you have it. On Saturday, the early game, the Stormers facing the Lions in Cape Town, and then the big game that we just spoke about now, the Sharks versus the Bulls. It's obviously it's going to be a humdinger, but I really do believe that the Sharks could beat the Bulls, but whether they can keep the Bulls, at bay, and really give that Bulls I would almost want to say a hiding, that remains to be seen. I believe the Bulls, even without the likes of Dwayne Vermeulen and the Springboks that was chosen in the British and Irons Lions tour squad, they still they are a formidable team, and the Bulls will certainly charge their arm against the Sharks.
No, exactly, and I think the news came out today that some of the box will be back for the Sharks this week, if I'm not mistaken, or for this game. So the Springboks will definitely have bring some weight into it. But again, that the Bulls team has just had some depth throughout the season, and having players like Nizam on the bench, and even a Gio coming back up, that would bring some much needed experience to those tight situations. So definitely a game of the weekend to watch. It is the unofficial final of this cup, and it's going to be fantastic to see who comes through with that.
For sure. No, for sure. So guys, on the social media feed, obviously, we see you guys, and you are gearing up to have a chat with Ivan Roos, the number 8 of the Stormers. Yusuf, Ivan, definitely one for the future. And again, we need to apologize, and we need to really thank him for his willingness to be on the show. But he will be on our show next week, Thursday. He is watching the show now. He's seeing some of the comments. But obviously now, Barry, we want to engage the people on social media to have a chat with us as we chat about the much anticipated. We all spoke about it. Wie gaan die verkose Springbok spelers wees wat Nina Haber gaan kies? And obviously that was revealed Saturday when Nina Haber read out his Springbok squad. 46 players, some very, very unlucky, and obviously many of them, 46 of them now smiling. They are in, and they will represent the Springboks against the British and Irish Lions.
Yeah, it's I think we touched on it earlier, or last week at least. The fact that there is the amount of depth we have in the squad is amazing to see. There is a few players that are unlucky to be. In fact, sorry, we didn't touch on it last week. We were speculating as to who will be in the squad.
Speculating,
yeah. But with that said, there are players that are unlucky that couldn't make the cut. But still, this team looks solid. It looks well established, and that just brings it back to what Rassie and Nina Haber has brought to our structures, is that kind of consistency that we are seeing this, the same players, playing through, and not a mixed match of players going from week to week, or series to series. So yeah, that's exactly at the core of the World Cup squad is in there, which is great to see. And then also you have exciting talents coming through, the youngsters coming through, and that's also going to be phenomenal. I'm thinking about the Amba, for example, Fassi from the Sharks as well, and then also bringing the stalwarts like Kwagga Smith. Those guys are fantastic players. They are what embodies the Springbok rugby play in all its toughness. So yeah, it's going to be fascinating to see how they'll match up against the Lions. But I definitely see the squad as a very, very strong one.
No, for sure. Guys, just let's get involved here. And obviously, Dwayne Vermeulen, the big news, Dwayne Vermeulen injured against the Stormers. He limped off the field. We all know now that he underwent surgery and a race against time. He would have 7 weeks now, exactly 7 weeks to recover. It's really far-fetched. But, with the technology and the medical crew, I'm pretty sure Dwayne Vermeulen will do everything in his power, and also Nina Haber with his medical team will do everything in their power to get one of our very, very best ready to play. Alberic, it's a big blow. It's a huge blow for the Springboks. Massive. It's probably, it's if I look at the starting lineup, the probable starting lineup, it's probably one of our top 3 players, the players that we most dreaded that to be fit. He is one of those that actually got injured now, and that's a big blow.
No, it's big. It's massive. And again, who do you look to if he doesn't make it? Do we look at the second and third tests as maybe when he'll be able to get into, if he is fit in time, and then. Who stands in his role? Who would fill that gap as that ox as a number 8? Who would fill that role? Again, Marcel Coetzee put up his hand nice this weekend, and we know that he's been around the blocks he's been in the Springbok squad set for a while before he went overseas. And again, he would be a great match, to fill that role. But yes, Dwayne Vermeulen is a big blow. I don't see how. We could actually take on the Lions without that type of player.
Yeah, no, for sure. And Nina Haber now announced that at this stage for now, he will not be calling up a replacement. Remember, this team need to be trimmed down. There's a few players that will probably move back to their franchises, and the team will be reduced from 46 players. But there's Marcel Coetzee. There's talks that Sia could play. The guy that we are not actually mentioning, or the media, the pundits are not mentioning, Dan du Preez. He is in the squad. He's listed as a loose forward. He's had a phenomenal season.
Yes, yes, yes.
And a guy that can play at number 7, he can play at number 8, and I do believe that it might be the reason that Ninaber at this stage said, "Ek is nog nie so bekommerd nie," because
Yeah.
Dan du Preez, we know he's a machine, very strong player. He's got the power game that's Dwayne Vermeulen has, perhaps not the finesse and the little touches. Ivan saying Jasper Wiese will not disappoint. Jasper Wiese for sure. And at number 8, he's a huge player as well. So it's all left up to Ninaber and the specialists to obviously fill that void. But I can tell you now, they vervang nie vir Dwayne Vermeulen nie. It's a major loss. and the British and Irish Lions now, they are sitting there with a grin, a small smile on their face. Dwayne is a massive blow for the Springbok squad. We wish him well. We hope that he's ready, and if he's ready, that he can obviously create havoc in those 3 tests against the British and Irish Lions.
No, for sure. And Dwayne, if Dwayne is watching this, if we can send this link to him, Dwayne, whatever we can do, let us know. Ons kan voete smeer, ons kan jou wat enigiets doen. Ons kan 'n kussing onder hy enkel gaan sit vir jou. Whatever needs to be done, we're there to help. No, again, he's a massive player, and he's surely going to be missed. But again, you mentioned Dan du Preez. There's some. If you look at that loose forward, there's some solid players there that could, fill a role, or could not necessarily fill Dwayne's role, but could be shifted around so that we can still have a phenomenal, loose trio. So again, you can if Kwagga Smith, you have the Marcos, even though they are different types of players to Dwayne, they could definitely fill a different kind of combination that Ninaber might be looking at.
No, for sure. And before we get the viewers involved, I see there's a lot of comments. I just want to zoom into another observation from my side. I believe that Faf de Klerk will start at 9 in the test with Andre Pollard. If he remains fit, he looks very, very good for Montpellier. He will start at number 10. The big problem now is at number 12. We know that Damian Dialendi, hulle was 'n bietjie roekeloos daar en 'n bietjie petrol op 'n vuur gegooi letterlik en hulle het self 'n bietjie gebrand. Damian Dialendi there in midfield starting at number 12. I've got him there as my number 12. Everything points to it that he will be ready. What happens in the event that Damian is not ready or he gets injured in the very first game? Who do we turn to? Do we start Francois Steyn at number 12? It's all about Ninaber. But look at that midfielders. There is no other specialist number 12.
I would definitely look at Francois Steyn because of his experience. He might not have the speed that we know he was. Can you hear me?
I can hear you clearly.
Sorry, my signal is dropping a bit. He might not have the speed that he used to have, but again, he has a big boot. He's a experienced player, and you definitely want to have a player in your squad at least, without even looking at any other players. You would definitely have a Francois Steyn that could slot in either at fullback in the last 20 or on fly if need be. So definitely, I definitely would look at Francois Steyn as being. The question would be then, who would be the backup on the bench then, if a Damon de Allende doesn't make that role? Does it open the door for a Morne Steyn? That would
and obviously if you take Francois Steyn, you start him at number 12. All of a sudden now you get yourself thinking. Remember what made us special at the World Cup was a 6-2 split that Rassie brought in. Francois Steyn gave you that opportunity to do this, to do a 6-2 split, because he almost covers 12, 13, 15. And now all of a sudden, Damian Dialendi, he doesn't make it, or he gets in that Francois Steyn starts.
Yes.
Now you if you select Morne, he covers one position. In 'n geval van dood, gaan ek hom op nummer 15 speel. But he covers one position. The only other guy that comes to mind is Damian Willemse. Damian Willemse slots in there with Herschel Yankees. Then you can perhaps chance your arm. Maar dan sit jy ook op 'n lottery system wanneer jy sê vir jouself, you wanna play Damian early in the game at number 12 against perhaps either a Farrell or perhaps a Bandiaki, or perhaps they can really shift it around. They can move Farrell to 10. Hy's 'n uitgeslaapte spelertjie. They can start Finn Russell there. Is Damien a test level 12 that can slot in there? We are not sure. So we are really hoping that Damien Delaney that he's fit and that he's able to play 3 tests. However, the window is still open for other players to slot in and perhaps be part of the side. This is not a final squad. Players can be added. Yusuf, again, they're saying if it's early in the game or Damien is not fit, Pollard at 12 with Morne at 10. Ek kies Elton Jantjies elke dag bo Morne 10, guys. That's that is just my opinion. I might be, Morne is a great player. He had his time. Elton should start if Pollard has to move. That is just my opinion. And people can obviously have their say. Elton is the number 2 in the squad. There's no doubt about it. And Morne will bring something, and that is experience. But he should not trump Elton if there is a voided number 10.
And I agree with you. I mean, this is a good point that Yusuf makes as well. Although I do think that on this kind of level against the British Irish Lions, you're not going to be testing combinations on as a start. So, Pollard at 12, even though the prospect it's always been a prospect, and we've been talking about that for quite a while. To have that, to test that on against the British Irish Lions might not be the ideal time. Although it does seem exciting. But yes, you make valid points with Elton Jantjies being the incumbent number 2. If we look at the last Springbok game, which was the World Cup final, or in the World Cup squad at least, he was the number 2 flower. So yes, you would pick him over Morne, and just because of the fact that he has got the flair and the skills to kind of break that game if need be with a pass or 2 or with a chip. With all respect to Morne, Morne is a great player. He's actually had a great season. Actually, I have to give him that. It's been really, really great this season. Yeah. But
I think there we need to give you. Morne has been absolutely phenomenal for the Bulls. He's been. There is no doubt that he's a merit selection in the squad. People that are questioning his inclusion because of his age, Morne is a brilliant player, and he showed with the Bulls. He's still a class act. He can add value. But in this squad, my opinion is he's the number 3 flyer in this squad. And obviously, Ninaber can throw a curveball and say, hey, ek starts maar vir Morne. It's nightmares. It's bad flashes for the British and Irish Lions. We know what happened in 2009. But, a very good squad. Alberic, nonetheless. We're not going to speak it to all the positions. There you have the squad. In my opinion, a squad that should actually win this British and Irish Lions tour 3-0. But we said again, that is here oorstoot.
No, exactly. This is the Lions after all, and they bring something else that we only see every 12 years, and that's what they are. And I think, yes, again to your point on Morne, if the reality is, if we were going to play a rugby championship against the All Blacks and the Australians and the Argies, I would find it hard to see Morne in that team if you are going to be up against a Richie Mo'unga, guys with complete speed. They're the full package, players that can put players into other players into space, run and chase and do some phenomenal work as a flyer. So yes, it might again British Irish Lions that do bring us challenges, and Morne deserves his spot in the squad.
No, for sure. And in closure for this jaar, Berry, daar's een ding wat verseker is, en dit is hoekom Morne in die squad is. The Springboks want to dominate territory. They want to play set pieces. Die rooi Engelse gaan nie vir skrum nie. They will be scrummed. Ek bedoel, ek verstaan hy Kyle Sinclair is nou gedraft in die span. It's not going to be a pleasant time. He knows what he's up against. And then obviously some of his counterparts from Scotland and Ireland, they saw the World Cup final. We will not be scrummed. We will not be dominated up front. We will not be outplayed at the lineouts. Ons gaan hulle maul, ons gaan hulle druk. They might just if they play Finn Russell at number 10, if they decide to play the quick backs like Watson out, they might test us with the speed. It's dry in July in South Africa. we're playing on the high field, summer matches, they might run at us. Maar voor gaat hulle nie vir ons match. Hulle is in vir 'n big surprise.
Ek dink hulle gaan daar bietjie ons in die wêreldbeker gesien wat ons gedoen het met Engeland. Ons forwards is genoeg om hulle regtig les op te gee, dink ek, veral die scrums. But yeah, again, I don't see you going anything but 3-0, to be honest with you. Possibly 2-1. If we do win the first 2 tests, and like the previous series, we kind of took the foot off the pedal in the last test. But I definitely see us winning this comfortably. But again, that's if all our players are fit. If a Pollard gets injured, or like in this case, Damon De Allender and those key positions, then who do we look to, and who fills those spots in the bomb squad? So it's gonna be tricky, and it's gonna be exciting as what we've been waiting for a long time.
Yeah, for sure. Barry, before we move on to the closure, obviously we did tell the listeners, if you tuned in late, Ivan Roos, the Stormers number 8, unfortunately in the area where he's obviously producing this Tekkel talk show, it's pitch dark, no lights, it's load shedding, it's part of our lives now. And Ivan obviously tuned in backstage, but he will not be part of the show due to the lighting and everything that goes with that, Wi-Fi. Let's just give them a sneak peek who Ivan Roos is, Alberic. Just give them the banner again. There we go. A special guest, Ivan Roos. What a guy, what a player. He's been phenomenal so far, and we spoke about it. And again, next week, Thursday, we speak to this young player, played for the Sharks, now moved to Cape Town again. But those people in Paarl would all remember Ivan Roos as the player from Paarl Boys High. Dis die eerste keer wat ek die laaitjie gesien speel het. Ek het regop gesit en gesê, hier kom iets groot. En Barrick, it's just, a humble guy. We spoke to him, and he is ready to chat to us, to give us a sneak peek into his life, but also his journey from a young schoolboy into a professional player, and we hope that we will see him in the green and gold in the near foreseen future. So once again, Ivan, thanks so much, and we will speak to you on Thursday.
Thanks, Ivan. I think, sorry, I need just to add to that. The guys don't. Next week he will be on the show. He has confirmed for next week. We want to see you guys. We want to see you guys interacting with him. He's a great guy. Just chatting to him in the week. He's a very humble guy, and he's definitely a player that's gonna go far for the Springboks one day. I can see it, and you can see it as well.
Yeah, guys, obviously a much shorter show now because of the issue that we had with load shedding. But we're going to end out the show with on a very low key. This week, we said farewell to one of South Africa's favorites, one of the very best in theatre, one of the very best on our television shows, Shaleen Surtie-Richards, passed away earlier this week. It's a somber moment, Jalberic. We speak about culture, we speak about history. Shaleen is part of it. Sy was deel van ons huise as Nena, Vila se kind, Arendsvlei. What a pity, what a sad moment. Our sincere condolences to all. That includes our family, colleagues over the years, all of our fans, die mense in Appington, die mense van die Kaap, van die Tekkel talk show wil ons vir julle sê, medelee, sterkte, Shaleen het 'n impak gemaak. She made a difference, and tonight we salute her for her work in the industry.
Yeah, and just to echo what you said, South Africa really stood still this week when the news broke, and she's been part of our homes and part of our growing up, for such a long time. And I also go out to the family, and we wish them all the well, wish them well going forward.
The irony and the sad part is that when we enumerated the list people to appear on the show, and for those of you that's tuned in for many shows and for the last couple of series, you know, we encourage a culture of recognition. We want to speak to the change makers and the difference makers in society. Shaleen Surtie-Richards was one of the people that we actually listed on our very first list of people that we wanted to speak to. Unfortunately, because of many endeavors in the industry, we could not secure a slot with her. And that is why for us also, you know, it's a really sad time, but we still, it is, even in a passing, we are going to encourage a culture of recognition so to those listening, but also to Shaleen, if she's watching down on us. Thanks so much for what you've meant to the industry. Thanks so much for all your hard work, your dedication, for the legacy you leave, vir al die mooi goedjies, vir al die snaakse goedjies, vir al die lag, vir al die huil, for those generous interviews, truthful interviews, but also for that moments where you made us proud to be us. En die woorde soos jy gesê het, ek is ek. And may her soul rest in peace. To the family, please continue with her legacy. And to the many fans out there who idolized, loved Shaleen Surtie-Richards, condolences from the Tekkel Talk Show. Until next time, Alberich at Tekkel Chat. Op YouTube, op Facebook, op Twitter. Groete.